middle part of the week. Happy hump day. It is Wednesday. This is Arch City Now. I'm Vic Faust. 6:05 is the time. Producer Ryan alongside as well. My friend, good morning to you. Glad you're in today, getting things ready for the show.
Yes, sir.
I know you're
Good
busy.
Morning, Vic.
I didn't want to pop you up too quick if you weren't ready. I know you're the expertise over there on the computer, making sure everything is ready to rock and roll as we go. It is a day where there are things to talk about again. A lot of sports, some more sports, news headlines. St. Louis County Council, Sam Page, County Director, still going at it. I'm still just totally blown away, miffed, shocked, surprised, whatever, that Missouri, that in this 2025 year in St. Louis County, Missouri, we could still have an $81 million deficit. I mean, blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I've said it for a long time. If you're the leader, you need to take all the responsibility. And that's you, Sam Page. He's got to find a way to make this all work. With the council, there's no reason for St. Louis County to have that. We'll get into that. An $81 million deficit. And I'll say it right off the bat, buddy. You should not be using Rams settlement money to pay off your debt. I'm sorry. You shouldn't. You make cuts. You do it the hard way, just like you would with your own finances. Unfreaking believable. Anyway, I just get so frustrated. It's a story I've been talking about for a few weeks. Just there needs to be accountability there in St. Louis County. They're just, I mean, these things aren't happening around the country. They're not. But okay, we see what's going on there. So anyway, we are here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. All things St. Louis all the time. The headlines, the sports headlines, news, water cooler talk, anything you guys want to jump in and talk about, we are here for you to do that. We had Mizzou basketball playing last night. Maybe that's why they looked bad at the end. I mean, they played well enough to win and they lose. The St. Louis area, and some people care, some people don't, when it comes to high school football. But East St. Louis was supposed to be one of the best high school programs in the country. Were they ranked at all nationally? I know those things are so indifferent.
Ranked 41. 41st.
For what it's worth. And they got beat last night. They got beat in the state game by a school called Fenwick. They're a Chicago suburb, I believe a private school. But, I mean, some people who cover high school sports and football call it one of the biggest upsets of the country this year. And we'll get into it. I mean, you want to talk about just an all-time bad year for St. Louis high school football. I mean, it's bad. So no St. Louis metropolitan area teams in 4A, 5A, 6A, or East St. Louis, who was supposed to be all world and we saw that they're not all world. And this is what I always said when I was a coach. I don't care who you are, how many athletes you have. I'll say it, how many athletes you've recruited to your high school. It doesn't matter. Football is still the best team game there is because there is 11 people on the field at one time, all working in unison together at the same point. And if one person doesn't do their job out of 10, an entire play goes awry. There is no other sport where that is the case. End of story. So on any given Sunday, or yesterday as any given Tuesday, a team like Fenwick can come and beat a team like East St. Louis. This is a lesson for life, whether it is football, volleyball, a boardroom here, there. You must believe, number one, you can do something. You plan your attack, and then you attack your plan. It is very simple. You can accomplish, if you get everybody working on the same side, a whole lot more than many people would ever think that you could. If there was a point spread that was going to be put on this football game with East St. Louis and Fenwick, would you say, Bri, because you covered East St. Louis this year, it's high school, would you have gone as far to say at least 3 touchdowns, 21-point favorites? I would have.
No, I was gonna say like 14.
Okay.
I gave, or even 10, because Fenwick was a really good team. They played Mount Carmel, and I've been saying all week that they played Mount Carmel and only lost by a touchdown. And Mount Carmel has been having Eastside's number for the past few years as well. So I was like, this is gonna be a tough game for Sunken and them boys. But I had them by like if I were to like hope, I thought probably like a touchdown or 10 points.
Well, the final score was 38-28. It was 31-28 late in the game. East St. Louis with the ball with about 2.5 minutes to go. I watched this game, and East St. Louis quarterback throws a pick, literally throws a pick, and Kenwick returns it down to like the 1 or the 2, and the next play, they just absolutely just stuffed it down Eastside's throat in their face for a touchdown, and that put them up 38-28, and that was pretty much the game.
Yeah, and I knew like right from the beginning of the game, when that snap happened, I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but they got to tighten up. And then it was right at that, what was it, the 4-yard line, touchdown, 7-0 right off the rip. And I was like, man. And you can't do that against Fenwick. I'm like, this is a talented team. They made it all the way here, number 1 seed for a reason.
Well, East St. Louis also had the ball a lot in the game.
They did.
They dominated amount of yards. They ran up and down the field, but they didn't put the points on the board. They made the mistakes. These are the things. Just like Mizzou basketball last night, just like Mizzou football in their tight games, like anybody else in life, if you don't do the little things first, they will eventually come back to haunt you. It doesn't matter how well you speak in a boardroom. It doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter how much talent you have on a sports field or court or ice. If you're not doing the little things right first, you will never win. My friend Grant Salzman calls them the margins. When you're playing a team that has enough talent and does all the little things right. I don't know anything about Kenwick, but their coach, or Fenwick.
Yeah.
Their coach, kudos. Sorry, Coach Sunkett. He outcoached you, man. And it happens. It's all right. It's all right to admit you got outcoached, and you got outcoached again. This is the second time in 3 years, isn't it, that East St. Louis lost a state title?
I think so. I wasn't really covering East Side last
I think
year,
it was. I think it's because they won last year.
I think, yeah.
And then I thought it was 2 years ago they got upset by somebody else. Now
it may have been Mount Carmel,
and it shows you. I'll look it up during the break, but it also shows. I mean, credit to East St. Louis. I mean, they're there every year. That you can't. I mean, you just don't write that in and say, "Oh yeah, they're there every year." No, kids have to work. Kids have to be good and do that, and they are. And Eastside's top notch year in year out. They are. But for whatever reason, they're not winning the state title. They're not winning that big game as consistently as you think that they would. So it hurts. It sucks for that team. We are the station for Eastside football, so it sucks for a lot of people around here. You'd like to see them win. You'd like to see them do well. But the bigger story, I think, is what's happening. What happened this year with high school football. And I'm going to tell you, the St. Louis area produces a ton of college football talent, a ton to schools, tons. It has for many years. And then also professional athletes in football, for those who care, and guys that have gone on. But this year, no teams competing for the 6A, 5A, or 4A state championship, and East St. Louis didn't win anything. We consider them to be St. Louis metro area. It's just a down year. And then you still got in 3A, Lift for Life this weekend against Seneca. I don't know who was a favorite or who's not in that game, but I mean, they have a chance. And I don't want to come across as saying anything bad here, but St. Pius X against Blair Oaks in 2A, that would be the upset of all time. Because guess what? Blair Oaks is one of those teams that does all the little things right every game, every year. because Teddy LePage, is one of the best coaches in the state of Missouri and has been for a long time. I know Teddy, I'm a little biased, but the guy, when I got to Mizzou, he was on his way out. He was a walk-on free safety. Mizzou earned a scholarship, was just a phenomenal freaking work ethic, and he took that same attitude to Blair Oaks, and that's why Blair Oaks is there every year. They're producing college kids as well. So I hope the best for St. Pius X. They certainly have their work cut out for them. But Lift for Life's got Lift for Life legitimately has the shot to bring home the only state title.
Yeah.
In the St. Louis metropolitan area. So we got off to a sports standpoint this morning, but we cover news, we cover sports, water cooler talk, all that. Just getting you up in the mornings here, not yelling at you, not coming in and everything else. We're getting you up in the morning talking.
Yeah.
So another lost opportunity, but I will say this. I will go on record right now and say that East St. Louis, and I don't know who has anything else next year in the Chicago area, but I will go on record and say that East St. Louis wins a state football title next year. Why would you say that, Vic?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because they are a very young team.
Yeah.
And I would not want to be playing them next year. That's all I'm saying. I would not want Coach Sunkett will have those kids ready next year. And it's very difficult in high school to get younger kids all the time to step up to a challenge. And I'm betting that Fenwick also had a senior laden team. I have a feeling because of the way that they played that game. I just have usually the seniors with good coaching equals long playoff runs. If you're missing good coaching and or senior leadership and then talent, you won't go. But if you have it, you usually do. And that's where it is right now. So we are Art City now here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. all the time. Monday through Friday. So glad you guys are with us this morning. What's happening in your neck of the woods? How are things in your life? You dealing with the cold throughout the St. Louis area? Hope you guys are hanging in there. I'm trying to get used to the cold, and I get it when people get older. Like I understand. You just don't. I do not like it as much. That is 100% for sure. 100% for sure. I can do without. I don't know about you guys. And we're just starting this run. I mean, it's December 3rd. Yippee! Here we are. Also, when we did the time change a few weeks ago, normally at this time the sun would be up. And we don't have the sun up. And I don't know. And we're supposed to have some sun today. I don't know what's going on with the forecast, but I've got two forecasts. At first I saw, it's supposed to be a high of 30, 33 today. Then I look down, then it's 38. Now I see 20. When you get a chance, look up temperatures for that and tell me what you see, Rye, please, because it is so bizarre. I'm like, wait a second, what the hell's going on? Why is this doing this the way that it is?
22
for the high. Or is that what it is right now?
Right now, the high is 37.
Okay. So around 20, 22 right now, the high around 37 today. And then the rest of the week, you're looking at some cold temperatures for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I saw like 38, 39, 35.
Yeah. Right now I'm looking at 39, 42, 41 at the highest.
Oh my gosh. And depending upon where you're getting your weather and temperatures from.
Yeah.
We'll also get into that situation when it comes to what happened on Monday with the forecast. Now MoDOT came out yesterday and said, well, we tried to pre-treat the roads on the weekend. Okay. You would have said that if you did. Well, we tried. MoDOT's getting hammered right now by St. Louis area stuff. It's just not a lot of good news. It's like St. Louis County budget deficit, which is massive. That's why nobody should ever be the county executive unless they have a business degree or run a business. I'm just telling you, you've got to know how to run a business to run a city, to run a county. $81 million deficit. People are probably going to lose their jobs. They got to make cuts somehow, some way. If you don't make cuts, where are you going to make up the money? And you can't just rely on handouts coming in and out. Oh, we're going to use Rams money and do another tax. They want to. One of the options was, let's do a sales tax, an online sales tax. No. Anyway, that's going on. We find out about a multi-million-dollar mistake that Metrolink made that taxpayers are on the hook for now. It's like, what? Really? Then the MoDOT story with weather. And it's like, okay, we need the positive around here. Let's focus on the positive. We want people to let us know about the positives that are going on. Yesterday was Giving Tuesday. There were a lot of really good groups, organizations looking for help, looking for money, looking for donations to help them move forward in the things that they've got going on. With that being said, they will still take your donations. It didn't just have to be yesterday if you missed something. A friend of mine sent something late last night on a charity I didn't even know she had. So you can still do that, still follow up on anything and everything you can there. By the way, we're grateful that you're with us each day. 855-282-8255 if you want to jump in on the show and talk about some of the stories that are going on. Or you can jump in and follow us as always on X, Facebook, YouTube. You can stream us live there. Always grateful when you guys jump in on the chat line to let us know how things are happening for you. The National Weather Service also explaining what happened on Monday with their forecast, why they initially said things were supposed to be later in the day, and then boom, oh, guess what? We're here. It's here. I wish there were better news here too, but then Mizzou basketball loses in the final 30 seconds of their game last night. I mean, there was no doubt watching that game Missouri was going to win. More talent. And I'm going to call out Dennis Gates today too. I'm sorry. I just feel like this guy's gotten a big free pass. It's like, where is all the criticism of Dennis Gates? And you're a basketball guy, right? And I'm not trying to be mean. I've met Dennis. It just, Missouri, the way Missouri lost last night to Notre Dame, they're not going to Kansas City at the Sprint Center and beating Kansas on Sunday. If they do, it'd be a huge surprise, but I don't see any way it's happening. Then you've got two losses to two Power 4 teams that'll have winning records. It's like, when do you start saying, hey, Dennis Gates, you better put something together this year? Am I wrong? Do you follow Mizzou that much? I mean, what has Mizzou done in 3-4 years?
I don't really.
Nothing.
Yeah, because
if Eli Drinkwitz,
I think both schools, they have some of the largest NIL and all that stuff.
What are both schools?
I mean, Missouri. I mean, both sports.
Oh, okay.
Basketball and football. My bad. But I was talking about how I don't really cover Mizzou basketball like that, but I saw them lose to Drake because I went there and I'm like, wow, they have so much money and they don't really produce what they need. But I think this game, these are those type of games that if you lose and it's close,
yes,
the next game you have to play hard. You have to get this dub. If not,
they got to play. They play Kansas Sunday at the Sprint Center.
Game too. This is a game that's either gonna propel your season because your strength of schedule is already low. So it's like you have to either win this or it's like you got to wait for conference play.
So we'll talk more about that game from last night as part of the ACC SEC basketball challenge. So it kind of put me in a East St. Louis loss. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Missouri loses. I was like, the college football playoff was released last night. No real changes. Mm-hmm. It's just, I'm at a point now because of what I see. Notre Dame, sorry, in my humble opinion, should not be ahead of a team that has the same record as them, and that team beat you. Sorry, it's black and white. It's not even gray, not even discrepancy like. It's not. Gee, who are we going to take? Well, I wish they would have played each other. So, they did play. Really? First game of the year, but they played each other. Oh, who won? Oh, Miami won. Oh,
there it is.
There it is. Oh, but let's see. This is Notre Dame. They may have a lot of people watching. That may help with money. I just hope it doesn't come down to a Notre Dame is in, Miami isn't situation. I'm not a fan of either school, and I'm not against either school. I'm about what's right, what's fair, what's just, what's honest. That's why right now I am hoping for chaos when it comes to the college football playoff. What would be chaos? BYU beating Texas Tech. Because as Heather Dinich said last night in their reporting on ESPN, if BYU upsets Texas Tech, she says Notre Dame is probably out. And I'm like, oh, that's what Heather Dinich said last night on ESPN.
That is true.
So
that is true.
We will see what happens with Alabama and the likes and so forth. But anyway, we've got some Indiana group, some alumni in the area. They have a big game Saturday. The conference championships, they don't have the same luster as they used to now that we have the playoff. They just don't. They're not supposed to hurt you if you make it. And if you win, it can help you. Okay, great. There it is. All right. Wow. Now let's get to the playoff. Number 1 versus number 2. Ohio State, Indiana, coming up Saturday night. So we got that to talk about. Missouri football still waiting on their bowl game. That'll be Sunday. Seen them from the Music City Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, one other opportunity facing teams like Nebraska, Duke possibly if they lose their game this week.
Oh, if Duke wins, it's going to change a lot. Oh, my gosh.
That's true. I would.
They need a lot to happen, though.
I would love. I mean, here's the thing. College football, NIL, all the stuff. It's all just one big mess. Really? So why not have a college football playoff that is every bit the same mess that your NIL is in your current state of football?
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be rude, but it's literally like just a show. It's like
it's an S-hit show.
Yeah, it's just like stuff just going on. Like
it is. It's an embarrassment.
But I think the committee's doing this with Notre Dame, though. When I look at their losses to Texas A&M, that's and Miami.
Correct.
Miami, if they would have just handled business, though, even if they lost to Notre Dame and beat those 2 unranked teams, they would be in.
Who has Notre Dame beat? Nobody.
USC and Pittsburgh.
Nobody.
But
thank you. Thank you. Nobody. Because guess why? Because Notre Dame doesn't play anybody. Now, if they were in a conference and that was the case, that's luck of the draw. Notre Dame chose who they were going to play. They chose that patsy little easy, soft prima donna schedule because that's all they thought they could handle. They scheduled 2 tough teams and they lost to both teams.
Really close. I'm not a Notre Dame I'm not fighting for Notre Dame to be in. I don't think they should be in either. I think Texas should be in.
Texas has not even a close to Notre Dame schedule. Their schedule blows away Notre Dame. Their wins and their 2 of their 3 losses were to top 10 teams.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, it is what it is. We talk about those things, the fan bases. Texas, in my humble opinion, should be in over Miami and Notre Dame when you look at their schedule.
Exactly. Another thing is,
I'm just fair. It's about being fair, black and white. Look at the facts.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows anything about football knows that Texas should be in there over those other teams because of their resume. Play the big boys. Don't avoid it. Join a conference. Stop playing this game that you play, Notre Dame. Maybe that's why maybe that just gets me up because Notre Dame has every opportunity to join a conference and they refuse because Notre Dame knows if they join a conference, they're going to realize really like if they join the SEC,
they're going to lose money.
They would have had 4 losses in the SEC this year, at least 4, because that's big boy football. And Notre Dame likes to kind of jump in and jump out, jump in and jump out.
Like put their toe in the water a little bit and then like pull out. Like
exactly. Do that schedule week in, week out. Then you find out about attrition, health, the kind of players that you'll have, the coaching. It is a nightmare to live in that situation.
Another thing is I don't really get what the committee goes off of. Do they go off of like how the team that they played in week 2 is right now, or do they go off?
We don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
It's all exactly, a big gray area.
Exactly, because when Texas A&M played Notre Dame, they were 16.
Yeah.
So basically, you never really played a top 10 team except for Miami, and you lost. Like it doesn't make sense. It's just about money, and that's why I just call it just a big money grab. Like,
it is, unfortunately. We got those things to talk about. We will come up, talk about Mizzou when we get back after the end of the break. Anything else you guys want to jump in and talk about? We love it when you do. Come on in. Winter baseball meetings begin this weekend already. We'll see what happens with the Cardinals from that standpoint. The Blues are off this day. They get back to action tomorrow, beginning their another 3-game road trip. So anything you want to jump in and talk about, we'll do that. It is Wednesday. It's December 3rd. We're glad you're with us today. Let's rock and roll, getting you going in the mornings. We are Arch City now. You can jump in on X, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also call us if you want, 855-282-8255. We are your Lou Information Station. We are live and on demand at louinfo.com.
Hot Take Central 2.0.
Now, as you sports fans know,
it's really getting out of hand, man. It's going way out of control.
With Cam Jansen.
I'm going to lead you down the path that rocks.
And Jimmy the Cat Hayes.
You're a legend in the city, living by day instead of night.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
hell yeah.
Only on the Lou Information Station. Streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com. Hot Take Central 2.0.
This whole situation is getting out of control.
Lunchtime just got a whole lot better at Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill. From mouthwatering wraps to loaded quesadillas to bold, flavor-packed sandwiches, Hot Shots has something fresh every single day, along with your favorite wings, burgers, and pizza that you know and love. And don't sleep on those Hot Shots tacos. Plus, if you gotta be in and out quick for lunch, Hot Shots has you covered every day starting at 11 a.m. Find your nearest Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill now at hotshotsnet.com. That's hotshotsnet.com.
Hey, St. Louis, looking for high-flying action and electric energy? Grab your crew, hit the road, and experience a Grizzlies game night in Memphis. An unmatched atmosphere and star-studded NBA matchups are waiting for you just down the road on I-55. There's nothing like Grizz game energy, and there's nothing like being here with 19,000 new Grizz Nation friends at FedEx Forum. Dive into the action. Follow the Grizzlies on social media and visit grizzlies.com/tickets to grab your seats today. That's grizzlies.com/tickets.
louinfo.com news headlines. Brought to you by Brown and Crouppen. 222-2222.
Your LouInfo.com news report. A St. Louis man has been sentenced to 12 years in prison for the shooting death of 35-year-old Antonio Watson. Tory Page took a plea on Monday, admitting to voluntary manslaughter and witness tampering. Police say Watson
Hey guys, welcome back into the show. Did you see the moon last night at all? Drive around. It seemed like it was really bright to me.
No,
Like really, really bright. Do you ever notice the moon at all?
No.
I never used to. Then Dave Murray, the best weather forecaster of all time, local weather forecaster. Sorry, I used to give him. I had a chance to work with him. He got me interested in moons. He would always talk about them and things like that. Well, the reason I bring it up is because tomorrow, December 4th, is a supermoon. And it's one we're not going to see again until 2042. And allegedly it's the highest that it can be at. So could be very, very interesting from that standpoint. So anyway, check it out tomorrow, December 4th, the supermoon, checking it out over the St. Louis area. Hey, my friends, Art City now back 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. I'm Vic Faust, producer Rye here too. All things St. Louis and other headlines from across the country. Water cooler talk in our area. Anything that you guys want to jump in and talk about as well. We love it when you come in with us and let us know what's happening in your communities, what's happening in your life. What do you want to talk to? The St. Louis side of things, let us know. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Hot Take Central 2.0 with Cam Jansen, the former Blue, and Jim the Cat Hayes, the Cardinals broadcaster. Follow us each morning, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. And then on Wednesday, you got the MIZ STL show today from 10 to 11. And then from 11 to 1, it is Charlie Tuna and the Posse. For more on all of the program that we have in our afternoon shows, just check out luinfo.com. Once again, that is luinfo.com. Also a bigger day in the area when it comes to early signing period for kids that are going to college, young student. I shouldn't call them student athletes. I should, but I shouldn't. In the age of NIL, it's not like that. But you don't see as many high school kids, let's say just football, signing at what they call the Power 4 schools anymore. Because most of those scholars, there are still some classes, excuse me, that sign, over 20, maybe high school kids. But in those classes, they're now they're filled with transfers, JUCOs, prep school. You don't see as many high school kids with those big signing days anymore because that's what NIL has done. Colleges have more transfers, so they're not going into the high school ranks as much as they used to. There are less positions available, but there are some schools that have young men signing today as well when it comes to football, the early signing period. So congrats to you if that's you, your family, your friends, whatever schools you're going to, Division I, FCS, FBS, Division II, whatever the case may be, congratulations. Lots of work for kids and families and money and dreams and a lifetime of time and effort that has gone into that. So those things happen it's early signing day, but they still have the normal signing day, which is in February. So it has all of that time. And that becomes important because now you have to wait and see the transfer portal and who's leaving those schools in January. So then you wait until the bowl games end and then the college visits pick back up again. I thought this was interesting too. And Deion Sanders is a very popular figure. And he went to Colorado and he just surged all kinds of life right back into that program. But they haven't accomplished anything. They didn't win anything. And his sons were there and then they left. The Sanders, and then Shadir doing his thing with the Browns. His other son is with, I forget who his other son is with.
Nobody.
Did he get cut?
Yeah, he got cut. He's no longer with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is now a Twitch streamer and also is pursuing acting.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Heisman Trophy winner from last year,
Travis Hunter.
Travis is obviously with the Jacksonville Jags. So I bring this up because they couldn't afford Deion Sanders when he came there. They didn't have the budget. They hired him without even having the money. Then they went and asked their fan base, their alumni to pay for him, and they came up with money. But now, 3 years in, Colorado isn't winning. They're not getting the players they need. And USA Today did a report that their athletic department is now $27 million in the hole because of their football team. How long will Deion Sanders be around? Yes, Colorado projected $136 million in revenue. That's more than they've made ever. But guess what? Their expenses were $27 million more. $163.7 million. And the reason that they're over budget is because paying the players $21 million and Deion Sanders' salary of $10 million annually. That put them over budget. And they're not making enough money. I'm wondering if Deion Sanders is back next year because Colorado is not a good football team. And they haven't been good. They just haven't. They haven't won anything of any. And I like Deion Sanders. I love his personality. I think he's fun. But clearly he doesn't know how to run a football organization. And it's not easy. Not everybody can do it. Now Marshall Faulk is on his staff. Or Marshall Faulk was at the game a couple of weeks ago. Marshall Faulk just took a new job at a smaller school. I think he's a where I'm trying to remember what school he's at.
I think he's at Southern, the HBCU.
Southern. He's at Southern. He's at that HBCU. Yeah. But Marshall kind of got to start with Deion. He was hanging out in Colorado, going to some games. And we wish the best for Marshall for sure. But I just thought that was interesting what's going on with old Deion. Oh, back in the day, Neon Deion. Hey, this is Art City Now. Glad you guys are with us. I'll get into it here real quick. I know we had a lot of sports today, sports headlines that were happening. But Mizzou basketball last night was playing pretty much their first game against a solid team. They were playing Notre Dame, who's only 5-3, but Notre Dame's schedule was legit, one of the toughest schedules in America. And they played everybody tight, including number 3 Houston just last week. And then Missouri went on the road, and they looked good. They had a 7-point halftime lead. And you're like, whoa. They were like a 2-point underdog, maybe 2 underdog going into the game. So now you see Missouri go in. Missouri had an opportunity to win. They lost. Final score 76-71. And all the stats were pretty much equal throughout the game for both teams. Everything pretty much equal. Notre Dame had a kid that hit 3 massive threes down the stretch, unguarded. Looked like Steph Curry lighting it up on his final 3-pointer that pretty much put the game out of reach. But then I start to wonder what's going on with Dennis Gates, because Missouri's now 8-1. They played the second easiest schedule in America through their first 8 games. So now last night they go to Notre Dame and they lose 76-71. They play in Kansas City at the Sprint Center against Kansas this weekend, this Sunday. And I don't see how they're going to beat Kansas after what they just did last night. I hope they do. But Missouri's got some, I mean, people complain about Eli Drinkwitz. Eli Drinkwitz has done far more at Missouri in his 6 years than Dennis Gates has done in his time at Mizzou, and it's not even close. Yet I hear more complaints about Eli Drinkwitz than I do Dennis Gates. Is it because people care more about football at Missouri? Missouri's more of a football school than a basketball school. It just is. It wasn't always that way, but it is now. There's no doubt about it. So in his first year at Missouri, he was 25-10 with a lot of talent that was left over. A lot of talent. But what did they do? Did they make a tournament run? No. No, they didn't. They won one game, right?
My Drake Bulldogs. Baby.
Well, that was last year.
Yeah.
Last year, they were 22-12 and then lost in the first round. In 2023, 2024, after he lost the good class that he inherited, they were 8-24. In 2022, the 2023, his first season at Mizzou, yeah, they were 25-10. But what did they do in the tournament? Nothing. I'm just saying, I like the man as a person. I hear him talk. But I'm like, what has Missouri done? Seriously, what have they done? He's 1-3 in the tournament. And Missouri hasn't won a tournament game with him as coach since 2022. They won their first game that year and then they lost. I can't remember who they beat. But that's what happened. So when does he start to face some of the situations, so to speak? 0-1 in the NIT, and he's 1-3 in the NCAA division tournament. So I'm like, okay. Well, I'm just saying it's something to watch. Last night was a game that they should have won, and they didn't. And he got a lot of credit for orchestrating a huge turnaround with players that were already there when he got there. And they had a good season. They beat Utah State in the NCAA tournament, and then they got upset by number 15 Princeton. Remember that? That was nasty. Then they didn't make the tournament 2 years ago. And then last year, Rise Drake Bulldogs put them down. And that game wasn't close late in the second half.
Yeah, Bennett Sturts, man. He's an incredible basketball player.
And then now you have Missouri open up with literally the easiest schedule in America by one. 363rd toughest schedule out of 364 teams. And you go to Notre Dame last night and you can't play defense in the final minute and you lose. You lose. So who is Missouri? I mean, if you judge by what you saw last night, they're losing to Kansas Sunday, and they're 8-2, and then they've lost the two most important games on their schedule so far. The SEC isn't what it was last year, but it's still good. Credit to Mark Mitchell, though. I love his game. He looked like he was trying to take over last night, and he played pretty well. He had 26 points. I mean, he did everything he could to put that team on its back. Jacob Cruz, 22 points. But outside of that, nobody could do anything. Nobody. That's it. Ant Robinson was kind of around, did all right. And maybe Notre Dame proves to be some world-beating team, but right now they're not. They're 6-3. So there's your judging stick for Missouri basketball. After last night, there are more questions, many more questions that I have. And it wasn't by any means some raucous crowd in Notre Dame where it's some incredible home court advantage. Not even close. So those things are kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. You get over it. So you follow basketball, right? Me questioning Dennis Gates, does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't.
Do you think it's fair at all to bring up questions?
No, it doesn't surprise me, especially with the strength of schedule they have this year and with like his tenure here. I haven't really been
year 4. Doesn't he need to go to the tournament, at least win a game?
Yeah, especially losing to teams like, even though I went to Drake, losing to lower like size schools, even though Drake I had them for the upset. It was just like,
that's because you didn't respect Mizzou.
Yeah. I didn't think Mizzou really had it like that. I think somebody was injured as well.
But this is year 4. 3 years you have one tournament win. Didn't make the tournament. And those players were from the coach before you. And then the next year, those players all left and you didn't even make the tournament. Didn't win an SEC game. Then last year, you have a pretty good year and they get beat in the first round. I'm just saying. And then it's like, oh, we have all this recruiting coming in.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh, we got all these players coming in. Well, do something. I mean, come on. I'm just glad Missouri's a football school, not a basketball school. And that's fine. And some people may disagree with that, and you're allowed to. But until they do something on the basketball court, I'm like, okay. But I wasn't upset watching that. The Blues are off today. They get back to action tomorrow, 3-game road trip. Cardinals have their, well, it's not just the Cardinals, it's Major League Baseball. The winter meetings begin this weekend. We'll see what Hein Bloom and the Redbirds are able to get done. Are there any trades that are taking place this weekend? Could be any movement. That's something that we'll be following this week as well when it comes to some of those things that are going on. Also, it happened somehow, some way. East St. Louis was upset in the state high school football championship last night in Illinois. Hated the fact that they had to play on a Tuesday night.
Yeah,
that's
me. And no, my bad.
It's a shame. Why can't they play in the snow on the day that they're supposed to play? What's wrong with that? Would you like to see him play in the snow?
Yeah,
I would.
Cool. But I don't know, maybe roads or something. Maybe all that stuff went into it.
Well,
I don't know, but
and maybe I'm still bitter from last year because we were on our way to play the state semis against Platte County. My son's team last year, state semis, going to Platte County, who, by the way, in my humble opinion, is the best team in state. I watched him play again last week. So we're supposed to start playing an 11 a.m. game. We're ready to go, ready to rock and roll. And we wanted to play. We're like, no, you play rain, shine, whatever. That's how football is made to play. They put up such a stink, made such a big deal. Oh, no, we can't play with snow on the field. They're like, we need 3 hours. So they moved our game back 3 hours. And the entire town, they literally came out with shovels, brooms, and they cleared the field. The entire town of Platte County. So it kind of I mean, that's one side. It's like, are you kidding me? The other side, it's like, hey, that's a lot.
That's Platte County.
That's Platte County. Your Carnies of the world. Your Platte Counties.
I remember when Platte County played St. Mary's, and they traveled too. Like,
yeah. So because they were worried because they had a pass game. We're more of a bruiser, beat you down. We're gonna knock you, and they're more of a throw team. Yeah. But my point gets back to East St. Louis. I wish East St. Louis would have played when they were supposed to and begged and said, no, we refuse to play on a Tuesday night. Because you'd love to see the area teams do something, but this year we don't. It's a problem. St. Louis, Class 4A, 5A, 6A, Missouri side, Illinois side, in the St. Louis metro area, nobody playing for state football championship. Coach Tony Wolfhook, friend of mine, head coach over at Lift for Life. They've got a shot to win a state football title. They play this weekend against Seneca. And then, I believe they play Friday. St. Pius X out of the Festus area. They've got a monumental task to take on Blair Oaks. Good luck with that. That is so tough. So tough. Taking on that juggernaut. I think that's Friday or Saturday. So anyway, we'll see if there's an opportunity there, but it's historic. This hasn't happened in the St. Louis area in a long time when it comes to the high school football side of things. So National Signing Day, which we were just talking about a little bit ago as well. So any other stories, things that you guys want to talk about, jump in with, you can let us know that. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Hot Take Central 2.0 follows us with Cam Jansen and Jim the Cat Hayes as well, just right after that. We love to talk with you guys about anything and promote anything. Yesterday was Giving Day, National Giving Day. It always follows the Cyber Monday. for charities, charitable work, things of that nature. We're always promoting charities as much as we possibly can here. If there are charitable events, organizations that you're with and you want to give them a shout, you can do that on X, Facebook, and YouTube. You jump in there, let us know, or you can give us a call and talk about it. 855-282-8255. We want to promote and talk about the good that's happening in St. Louis, what people are doing. If anybody needs a shout out, you let us know from that standpoint. If anybody needs help with something, let us know. We'd love to get that out here. That's what we try to do. This is your show, your community show, our backyard show throughout the St. Louis area. 855-282-8255. Producer Rise here. I'm Vic Faust. We are your Lou Information Station. We are live and on demand at louinfo.com. When we come back, we'll reset the stories. St. Louis County continues to battle the county executive and the county council about an $81 million deficit. Do you want to have your sales tax increased, online sales? That's one of the ideas. A multi-million-dollar mistake by Metrolink has taxpayers on the hook. Does that upset you? Metrolink now trying to say, or excuse me, MoDOT saying, well, we kind of pre-treated the roads over the weekend. Okay. You had a state senator, Nick Schroer, who's trying to file legislation to make sure that that never happens again. Weather continues to be a factor when it comes to the temperatures. So we'll get into that plus much more here on Arch City Now. We'll be back with more right after this. Into the show. We appreciate you being with us. Happy Hump Day. It is December 3rd. It is Wednesday. We are Arch City Now. We cover all things, all the headlines, news, sports, water cooler talk here in the St. Louis area. You know what you do if you're here with us each day. Myself, Vic Faust, and producer Rye doing what we do here. If you guys have stories, ideas, anything from that standpoint, let us know. What we can do as well is cover all the stories, give shout outs to people that you guys want to talk about. If anybody deserves a shout out, let us know. Charities, events coming up, what's on tap, what's got you going today. We can do that as well. I thought this was interesting because of what happened on Monday. Well, because of what happened on Monday with the forecast and the weather and the things that we were dealing with, the storm kind of came in early. It wasn't supposed to come till a little bit later in the day. Well, the National Weather Service kind of gave an idea. What they said was they take responsibilities and warnings very seriously because the weather was supposed to hit later in the day, if you remember that. But then all of a sudden, things seemed to change Monday morning, and it caught a lot of St. Louisans off guard, including local forecasters. But the National Weather Service said it was difficult because they have their staff live in our communities and they understand, quote, how an inaccurate forecast can affect plans. But then they also said what Fox 2's meteorologist said, that winter forecasting is among the hardest tasks in meteorology. He explained that just a few degrees or a few miles can determine whether an area receives little snow or the kind of accumulation that we got on Monday. Because as you know, it was supposed to be just a little bit and was supposed to come later in the day. We got a lot more, several inches more, and then it came a whole lot earlier. So they're trying to give an explanation. So they said that even a small error in timing, they know that that can mean the difference between a rush hour gridlock and a weather event that passes with minimal disruption. And that's kind of what we thought it was going to be on Monday. So they're already doing a post-storm evaluation action review. They actually do this at the National Weather Service to try to keep us safe, examining not only the scientific aspects of the storm, but also how quickly his staff recognized the need for a last-minute forecast update and how that information was communicated. So Deach with the National Weather Service said that he believes the St. Louis area benefits from strong partnerships within the weather community, and that even with those strengths, there are always ways to improve and to better protect the public for future storms. So basically saying that a degree here, there, it changed its path, and that's why we got hit on Monday. Well, we did. We got hit. And of course, we know what happened. So that's one aspect of it. Then we had MoDOT, as we reported yesterday, came out and said that they didn't have time to pre-treat the roads because they said the storm came too early. That's what they said on Monday. Well, then we reported that yesterday. And then yesterday afternoon into the evening time, MoDOT said, well, we did try to get out and pre-treat over the weekend. And I'm like, what? They did? Huh? Drivers were very frustrated after hearing this. But then by yesterday, MoDOT was changing what they said, saying the crews had treated the roads over the weekend. And I'm like, okay, is that really what happened? Is that really what's going on? Okay. If they treated it over the weekend, then that's not going to be something that's going to work, right? I don't know. It's just give a message all at once. Because even if they did pre-treat the roads over the weekend, it didn't make a difference. And why didn't you say that at first? It almost seems like you're coming back. Well, we were out on the weekend. I mean, so much so that State Senator Nick Shore is now filing legislation to make sure something like this doesn't happen again, because we try to trust MoDOT. He called it, State Senator Nick Schroer called it a public health crisis caused by MoDOT. So maybe they saw this legislation being put through, and now they were starting to, quote, freak out. Schroer says it's become a free-for-all with no accountability, no oversight whatsoever with MoDOT. And that's where I think we'll continue to see them drop the ball, because this isn't the first time. It is interesting, too. Governor Kehoe jumped in on this. He addressed the congestion and delays, noting that traffic pileups prevented the plow and the treatment from trucks from reaching certain areas. You know, by late Tuesday morning, traffic was flowing again on the major corridors, which was good. But Monday, it was not good. So I don't know. I know when MoDOT says that they had crews out treating the roads over the weekend, if they were, it didn't do anything. And then why didn't you just tell us that in the meeting when you said you didn't have time to treat? Bob's been around for a long time. Bob Becker, their director. Bob knows. So sometimes, you know, when you give a message that doesn't add up, it's going to sound like it doesn't add up. And it's not going to make MoDOT look very good. So I don't know. It's not a great look for the city as we talk about this stuff. And then I just don't like it. And it is what it is. So that's one side of things that are happening. Okay. Also, when it comes to some of the news headlines around the area right now, we've also got a situation going on with St. Louis County. What you might say, well, what's going on is this. St. Louis County, we've been talking about this for a while. St. Louis County is facing an $81 million budget crisis. And the county executive, Sam Page, and the county council continue to differ on how to try to make up for this. It's one thing that St. Louis County got in this situation in the first place. It should never happen. It's supposed to be the cog in the wheel of this state when it comes to business and commerce and doing things responsibly. But we haven't been. There has been overspending somehow, some way. It has not been. If you're $81 million in the hole, you have not been fiscally responsible, and you have to make cuts. You do. I've covered so many of these stories over the years, and they're all the same. You spend too much. You're spending more than what you're bringing in, and you don't have the new business coming in that you need. It's pretty damn simple. That's why I've always thought in covering news and working in news, usually the best people who are the county executives are people who have run businesses or own businesses, because running a business is not easy until you have experience. And when you have experience doing it, then a lot of it adds up. It really does. A connects to B, B connects to C. But you need a business person running it. Right now, you're talking about an $81 million deficit. It's not the most positive thing in the world. We love to try to focus on positive, but it's a big news headline. Right now, the county executive, Sam Page, wants to make up for the deficit by using Rams settlement money. Is that throwing good money at a bad problem, or is that where it should be? If you didn't have the Rams settlement money that came about, how would you pay for it? Would you like to see the Rams settlement money used for something else? Maybe to generate business. Who knows? I don't know. Do something nice. But to pay off a debt? I don't know. And with a sales tax for online spending. County council disagrees with that. They want to make cuts. They're like, we need to make cuts in departments, because they say there's evidence where departments continue to ask and get more and more money each year, even though they're not spending all of that money, and that they're overspending. The bottom line is now you have an $81 million deficit, and they're working overtime to try to get this taken care of before this new year starts. Quote, and this is coming from Rita Days, county councilwoman. She says, Each year, even though the departments don't spend 100% of the assessment from the previous year, they're still asking for more money. That's a discipline. We do not have the discipline in this county to address this issue. Mark Harder went on to say, if we do nothing like the county executive would like us to do, we're going to be bankrupt next year. Literally talking about being bankrupt. St. Louis County. The worst part about all of this is the fact is that we know living here that this can be a great place with great businesses. It can be. But do you really think other businesses and organizations and people are going to want to come to St. Louis City, St. Louis County when these are the kind of national headlines you're getting? No. We need the positive aspect of it. And the only way you're going to get positive, as with anything in life, is you take care of the problem first. You clean up the problem and then you grow, because you can't grow with the problem. You just can't. St. Louis County Council plans to vote on a budget item or budget items at their next two meetings to finalize the budget. And they have to do that before the December 31st deadline. So you'll see some of those things happening throughout the area right now. You'll hear those things being talked about as well. So we were just going through some of our headlines and the things that were making news. Once again, this is Art City Now. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Covering your news headlines, the sports headlines, and getting you up and out the door each Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Well, something else happened yesterday. We found out that the MetroLink train order, literally a measuring mistake in the region's new MetroLink train order, is going to cost taxpayers almost $1.5 million to fix before the vehicles can safely operate. So what happened was MetroLink officials placed an order 2 years ago, this according to CBS, KMOV, 2 years ago for brand new trains for the region's MetroLink. But the trains they ordered already need to be fixed so they can safely operate in the tunnels. Yeah, so it's like, what? How could you make this mistake? So it's almost a $1.5 million problem. Obviously, riders asked about it are upset. This is taxpayer money. It's interesting because the region's MetroLink system includes tunnels that takes riders into darkness. They're not new. Some are more than 150 years old. That's why experts said Metro officials should know how to measure them. This is what was interesting. From Carl Berkowitz, a transportation expert with 50 years of experience. This is engineering 101. This is like basic stuff. Calling out MetroLink officials for screwing up basic measuring. Now, back in 2023, then Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg rode MetroLink in St. Louis with local officials announcing a major investment in the light rail system. 55 new trains with a price tag of more than $390 million. Many of those vehicles are as old as the system itself. So, Bi-State Development, which runs Metro, created specs, selected a company to begin the building. Well, you fast forward to now, and here's the issue. So Channel 4 investigated weeks and confirmed the issue with Metro officials. So in order to safely operate in all of the system's tunnels, the trains have to be smaller than the tunnels themselves. Yeah, you think? Yeah, or there's going to be a problem. Can't stuff that into a small clearance, but you've also got to have a buffer in the clearance. It's a safety mechanism. It's $1.5 million. And it's an oversight. And guess where that money goes back on? The taxpayers. It should have never happened, according to that guy. He doesn't even know how it happened. It's quote from Berkowitz talking about Metro officials' mistake. It's basic engineering. I don't know how it can happen. I can't understand how it could happen. Is it common? He was asked. He said, nope, it's an engineering error. So here you go. Now you've got to come up with $1.4 million to fix it. And it's just unfortunate. It's just another black eye when it comes to Metrolink, but we hope that things can get a little bit better. You guys can jump in with your comments if you want to. You can always call as well, 855-282-8255. Once again, that is 855-282-8255. We are your Lou Information Station. We are live and on demand at luinfo.com, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. is when we are here. Appreciate you guys being with us all the time as well. If you guys have other stories, you can let us know. The other thing about that, too, is the fact that if you want to give shout outs, we'd love to do that here from more of a positive standpoint. We know a lot of the news, at least that we were talked about today, were things that were not so positive when it comes to some of the issues, but they are headlines. And then the worst thing I could have ever saw happen this morning. Do you remember me telling you who my favorite pizza was? Where my favorite pizza in the St. Louis area was, Rye? You're with me every day. Our listeners check in and check out. So I'm curious if you remember, and it's an oldie but a goodie for me.
It's in Clayton, right?
No, it's not in Clayton.
Oh.
The Maryland Heights, Bridgeton area.
Okay, yeah, it was either that or Maryland Heights. Man.
Okay.
I forgot. I don't
the
know.
place is called Sarah's Pizza.
Yeah. I knew it was some lady's name, though.
Well, or their last name.
Yeah.
Serras. I grew up on Sarah's Pizza in Maryland Heights. Absolutely love it. So right off of McKelvey Road, buddy. You see the back of it from Highway 270, getting up there near 70. Okay. They had a fire last night. Flames and smoke could be seen pouring from the building, and it's old. It's been around since. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately. So according to an official from the Maryland Heights Police Department, it started in the kitchen of the restaurant. No injuries were reported. So that's good. I just hope Sarah's is going to be all right for some Sarah's Pizza. It is interesting. One of the comments on the news headline was like, oh, no. It's been open for years, literally. I mean, it's 50, 60 years. I mean, wow. It's been around for a long time. Long time. Absolutely loved it. So anyway, if you guys knew anything about that, you can let us know too. But, you know, people always talk, oh, what's the best pizza? What's the best pizza? I grew up on it. So that's why I loved it. A great little place, Sarah's Pizza. And if you've had Sarah's Pizza, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's delightful. Absolutely delightful. Guys, it's December 3rd. And we're here Monday through Friday. We got things to talk about when we come back as well. From that standpoint, there are a lot of sports headlines that we'll get into. The college football playoff had their announcements last night. We'll talk about a couple specific things from that standpoint. Missouri basketball played Notre Dame last night. It was right there for the taking. I legitimately thought they were going to win until a guy named Serta made certain that Notre Dame was going to win the game. He hit three-pointers down the stretch and ended up beating Missouri. But I'm concerned. There's a couple of things I'm concerned about with Missouri basketball that we can get into as well. And then what happened to high school football in the St. Louis metropolitan area this year? Arguably one of the worst years when it comes to competing for state, at least. And why is it? We're just less people playing. We're less kids playing football. Because that class, when you look at the senior class, the senior classes this year for football, there weren't, there just weren't dominating classes. There were a few in the area that had a lot of seniors, but it is interesting when you look at what's going on, because for the first time since they went to the classes, and we talked about it a little bit, I think on Monday, No 4A, 5A, or 6A teams playing for state this weekend. And that also includes East St. Louis on the Illinois side of the St. Louis metro area. East St. Louis upset last night. Upset. And people who cover sports and high school sports or GSV called it one of the biggest upsets in the country this year. You've covered East St. Louis all. You think it's that? You think it's that far too? That's not.
I don't agree
because they played Mount Carmel close, and Mount Carmel was considered to be as good as East St. Louis, right?
Exactly.
They're in Illinois. They're just in a different division.
Yeah,
they're in a different class than East St.
Louis.
Louis.
All that, but yeah, I'm not gonna say it's the biggest upset in the. No, I think that's just a little bit more click, and I'm like, okay,
I got you, and I trust your opinion. That's why I asked from that standpoint.
Especially they're a super young team too.
And yeah, I wasn't even there, and we can break that down too when we get back. Got that. Plus, you've got National Signing Day today, which is going on. So congrats to those kids. Early signing day. They still have the February signing day, but they also have signing day, the early signing day too, which is going on. So we can get into that, talk about that. Plus Mizzou football, getting into, Music City Bowl, possibly the Dukes Mayo Bowl. They'll find that out on Sunday. And the Missouri's recruiting class that's coming in today, the early signing, right now ranked 25th. But as we know, Missouri has focused more on the transfer portal and done very well when they need kids to come in right now and compete and get some of those things done. So those are some of the issues that we have there. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll finish out the show there. If you have any other stories or things that you want to jump in on, you can do that. You can give us a call, 855-282-8255, 282-8255. You can jump in on X, Facebook, and YouTube as well. Join the show, join the party. We can talk things over on this Wednesday morning. It's December 3rd. It's cold, but at least the sun is shining today on top of things. So jump in. We are your Lou Information Station. We are live and on demand at louinfo.com. We'll be right back after this. Hey guys, welcome back into the show. Temperatures today in the upper 30s. I think sun is shining. Let's hope it's a nice day. Hopefully it's not too windy out there. We've certainly had our fair share of winter-like weather since the weekend, but hey, all in all, it could be snowing again. It could be raining. It could be sleeting, but it's not. So try to enjoy the sun on this December 3rd. As we are halfway through this work week, we are Art City now. I'm Vic Faust, producer Rise alongside 7:33, almost 7:34 on this Wednesday morning. Jumping in the show if you want to via X, Facebook, and YouTube. We appreciate it when you guys do that as well. We covered the stories here, the news headlines, water cooler talk, things that are happening throughout the St. Louis area. Love it when you guys participate and jump in the show as well. Donna says good morning to Vic and Rye. Appreciate you guys. How's the weather and the roads today? Well, the weather's fine. The roads are fine. I said it could be a whole lot worse. It's not, so we are grateful for that. So anyway, those are some of the things that are going on. We did the news headlines in the last segment, getting back to some of the sports things that are going on. Blues get back to action tomorrow night. They have 3 games in a row on the road. We'll see if they can, do something there. Hopefully getting used to life without Jimmy Snuggerud and Jake Neighbors. Also, baseball winter meetings begin this weekend. Hein Bloom there. We'll also see if anything starts to take place when it comes to this Cardinals baseball team roster. Anybody coming? Anybody going? Those sorts of things as well. It's also supposed to be very, very cold tonight. Very cold. After we reach our high during the day, it's supposed to get down way, way low into the late hours, early morning hours into Thursday. You're talking about a low being at 13 degrees. So that's how cold it has all of a sudden gotten throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. But at least there's no serious snow, nothing that I could see expected. Maybe some light snow by Sunday, at least according to the forecast that I have seen from that standpoint. Okay, promoted it, talked a little bit about it. East St. Louis looked for a state title last night. I think they were looking for their 12th state title. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes,
Producer Ryan?
12th state title, 6 for Darren Sunken.
Yeah, and I mean, Darren Sunken has been absolutely amazing over there at East St. Louis. It seems like they're playing for the state title every year. However, as good of a coach as he is, you never know what can happen. And in my humble opinion, he might have gotten out coached last night. Fenwick out of the Chicago area pulls an upset, big upset, beating East St. Louis 38-28, high school football state championship. So it was, it was pretty much back and forth. Fenwick had the lead and could pretty much take some of the chances and do some of the things that they did most of the game. And then in the second half, East St. Louis tied it late in the fourth quarter. It was a tie game. It was 28-28. Then Fenwick got a field goal. They were up 31-28. And then East St. Louis on their ensuing drive with about 2.5 minutes to go throws an interception. Fenwick returns it to about the 1. The very next play, they stuff it in for the touchdown. They had a 10-point lead. They were up 38-28. And East St. Louis could not do anything after that. So Fenwick pulls off the upset. A couple St. Louis people who cover high school football calling it the biggest upset in the country, where nobody gave a shot to beat the Flyers. Incredible victory. That coming from Gateway Sports Venue, whether you agree or disagree with that. Fenwick did play Mount Carmel close during the year. Mount Carmel, also another very good football team in the state of Illinois. So that happened. So we give them a shout out from that standpoint. Also, you've heard of Incarnate Word and how good their basketball program is here in the St. Louis area. They opened their season last night by celebrating last season's state title. They beat Lutheran St. Charles last night. No surprise there, but once again, they look like they're another dominant team coming back yet again. So we'll see where all of that goes. It is interesting, too, that no high school teams in the state of Missouri, as we talked about, 4, 5, 6A, will be competing for state titles this week. Good luck to Lift for Life in 3A. a charter school out of St. Louis City, down on the south side, down there near Soulard, and then St. Pius X out of Festus in 2A, looking for state titles this weekend. So we'll see where that goes. Okay, Missouri basketball last night lost to Notre Dame 76-71. They're now 8-1 on the year. They play at Kansas on Sunday. Kansas ranked 21st. Kansas had a tight game last night. They lost, but they play at the Sprint Center. I'm just saying, Dennis Gates and Missouri really need a win since they played such an easy schedule against a team that is at least solid. When will they get that first solid win? They had their first opportunity last night. They lost. It was there for the taking. They gave up 3 threes to a man from Notre Dame. And just like that, the game washed away. Made a couple mistakes. They couldn't make some shots. They missed the front end of a couple one-on-ones. All the opportunities were there. All the numbers. It was a tight game. 2 evenly matched teams. Mark Mitchell did everything he could for Mizzou last night. I credit him. He had 26 points. Jacob Cruz got hot for a little bit. First half shooting threes. He had 22 points. He hit some important free throws at the end of the game, but Missouri lost. So what that does is it's like, okay, you lose that game. Now you've got Kansas. What if you lose to Kansas coming up? And then Missouri, and I've seen Illinois play, and then Missouri, and I know anything can happen in that game. But, I mean, Illinois, they look good. I don't know. I saw Mark Mitchell and I saw Jacob Cruz play well. I didn't see a lot of other people play well for Missouri last night. I hope it can change. I'm hopeful. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just like, Missouri has one tournament win in 3 years ago. I mean, in 3 years, 3 seasons. This is the 4th season. And that came in Dennis Gates' first year. And that was with a solid team that he inherited and came in and coached. And then the next year, they didn't win an SEC game. Last year, they had a pretty good team throughout the season, surprised people, and then lost in the first round of the tournament. Then Dennis Gates goes out and recruits very well for next year. But they got to win some games, don't they? Are Missouri fans going to be happy if this team doesn't even make the tournament or win tournament games this year? The SEC isn't as good as it was last year, but it's still pretty darn solid. Very solid. There's no teams in the top 10 from the SEC right now, but there's several from that like 10 to 30 ranking. Missouri not in there right now. And they're 8-1 with one of the easiest schedules in America. So time to put up or shut up for Mizzou. Kansas, Sunday, Sprint Center in Kansas City. Big time opportunity for the Tigers to get a victory. And not only an opportunity, but also they gotta do something. I mean, maybe I'm being a little negative, right? But when I look, they're coming off a first round loss to Drake last year, your school, where you were going.
Yes, sir.
Did you go to basketball games at Drake after you stopped playing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, well, my freshman and sophomore year, I was
because they were so well coached when I saw them play Missouri last year.
Yeah, they've had a really good coaches from like Darren DeVries to McCollum to the guy now. It's like back to back to back. But when DeVries was there, I was like reporting a little bit with the team, but I also like knew a lot of the guys, so I would go play with them every now and then. It was cool, and then I've just gone to the games ever since. And
okay,
the atmosphere is really, really good too.
Oh yeah, I could totally see that. No, I could. It makes total sense. I don't know. Am I like freaking out that too much that Missouri lost last night, and I don't see them beating Kansas or Illinois with what I saw last night?
Oh no, I don't see them beating them either.
I'm like, oh man, it was like I was hoping I was going to see them play even better. 2 guys stepped up, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Football season's going to be coming to an end, and I'm like, come on, Mizzou. So that should be a big game when it comes up this Sunday for Mizzou at Kansas. But if they beat Kansas, that could certainly make up for last night. And Kansas isn't a world-beating team anymore,
At all.
but they've had a very tough schedule to start their season, whereas Dennis Gates went the opposite way and had the second easiest schedule in America going into the last night's game. So it's got to work. We will see if it all goes. So anyway, that's coming up Sunday. Come on, Mizzou. Come on, Dennis Gates. I know you have all these guys coming in next year. You have at the worst, a top 3 recruiting class, maybe top 5 in America,
something like
the
that.
2026s. But we need it now. Come on, let's get that done. Hey, speaking of Mizzou, by the way, we'll find out Sunday about their bowl game. Illinois will find out then too. The Music City Bowl back on in Nashville. Saw that as a possibility by CBS Sportsline against Nebraska. Would that excite Missouri fans? Is in Nashville. Also, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I think that's in Charlotte, and that would be against Duke. Considering if Duke loses in their play, but they have a shot. I haven't even looked at the line from that, but they could possibly pull off an upset against Virginia. But I don't know. Virginia looks like a much better team. They do. They've had some bigger wins this year as well, so we'll see where that goes. But we'll let people know when that comes up on Sunday. Speaking the college football playoff last night, you still have got no surprise here. The teams at the top of the list. It should Ohio State 1, Indiana 2. Georgia moves up to 3. Texas Tech is 4. Oregon at 5. Ole Miss at 6. Texas A&M drops to 7. Oklahoma's at 8. Alabama's at 9. And then you had Notre Dame at 10. BYU at 11 and Miami at 12. Okay. So that's where it is. I completely disagree with 10 through 12, but whatever. It is what it is. So here's something that's going on. I don't think Notre Dame should be ranked ahead of Miami because they have the same record and Miami beat them head to head. It's pretty simple to me. Other people want, well, if they look at this and it was at the beginning of the year and you look at this, it's like if you have the same record and one team's in a conference and one team is not, and then they played each other, I don't care if it was last year, whenever, whatever. It was head to head. It was in this season cycle. They beat them. They should be ranked ahead of them. End of story. Stop making things more difficult than what they need to be. So Miami, trying to make a case for themselves, here's what Miami's doing, or at least the ACC. The ACC, buddy, is running a marathon starting tomorrow, 24 straight hours, Rye, of Miami's game against Notre Dame when they beat them.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on the yeah. That is real because that is real.
Just in case if anybody forgot, Miami did beat Notre Dame head to head. They should be ranked ahead of them for whatever it's worth. And because of the craziness, because of the decades of not great leadership by the NCAA, I hope there is chaos. Because they have not gotten involved and done what they could have done, I hope with NIL and coaches and players and coaches are now independent contractors and it's all craziness. You know what? Why not? Wouldn't it make sense if the college football playoff was as crazy as their coaching and transfer portal situation is?
It already is. Yeah, it makes sense. The clown show needs
I hope the clown show continues through the playoffs. And I know that is not a common theme with some people. I hope so. I hope BYU beats Texas Tech. I hope Duke beats freaking Virginia. I know this would be upsets. It's crazy because Notre Dame should not just be, well, we're Notre Dame. And I don't like Notre Dame. I don't dislike Notre Dame. I don't like Miami. I don't dislike them. I just want what's fair, honest, just, black and white truth. Miami beat them head to head, same record they should be in. And then if we're talking about records meaning something, that's why Texas would not be in. But Texas has a better resume than both Miami and Notre Dame. And it's not even close.
Not even close. So what if Texas would have not even played Ohio State and played Chattanooga?
Yeah, as they should have, which is why college football teams should not play any good teams in the non-conference. Don't play another team. Don't play another tough team. Don't. I would not do it.
First game of the season. Like,
Makes
actually,
no sense.
first game of the season, too.
Makes absolutely no sense. So that's a problem. That's an issue for those schools. Well, Vanderbilt's 14. They only lost 2. They're on the outside looking in right now. Imagine if you're a Vanderbilt fan. Put it this way. If Missouri would still be ranked. If Missouri had 2 wins, or Wednesday was ranked, would they even be in contention?
This is my question.
That's what I'm saying. This is an issue.
Somebody said this too. If Vanderbilt had a Michigan logo and said Michigan instead of it saying Vanderbilt, would they be 14 right now?
Yeah, Michigan is not some stellar football team this year. They have no offense, a true freshman quarterback that's still learning how to read defenses, and somehow they're still 19 with four losses.
Exactly. It's like
they didn't play an SEC schedule.
Literally like just namesake.
Yeah, it is. It's BS. It's total BS. And then so what has Vanderbilt done? So Miami's running their victory, or not Miami, but the ACC is running Miami beating Notre Dame for 24 straight hours on the ACC network starting tomorrow into Friday, right before the conference championship games, as if that's going to make a difference. Well, Vanderbilt's gone this way. Vanderbilt now still trying to make it. They've made a document.
Oh, I saw that too.
And they sent it out to media members across the country to try to help sway opinion for them getting in.
This is like some topsy-turvy stuff, man. It's just a lot of stuff going on to get somebody in, because the committee, I don't think they really see what they're doing and what they're devaluing. They've devalued bowl games, out of conference games now. It's getting crazy.
So Vanderbilt's trying to do that. Vanderbilt is on the way outside looking in. They're not getting in. They're not anywhere close to getting in.
Texas is ahead of them right now.
They have no shot. Yeah, Texas right now on the outside looking in, despite their big wins that they had. That's why I would love to see Duke win. That's why I would love to see BYU win and somehow make things even more complicated. And then maybe Miami and Notre Dame both get left out.
But you want to know what's crazy, though? Just take care of business and beat who you're supposed to.
Yeah.
If Texas would have beat Florida,
you're right.
You have a win over Oklahoma and you have a win over Texas A&M. You're in. Notre Dame is out.
Yep. Take care of business. But you could also say that for those teams with 2 losses too. Yeah. If you're it's like Notre Dame, you could have beat Miami. You didn't.
Miami's ranked.
You could have.
You could. Ranked team.
Yeah, you could. But you could have also, and then Texas A&M, of course, a close loss.
1 point.
But here's the other thing: take care of business and schedule. Vanderbilt took care of business. The only 2 losses. See what I'm saying?
But guess what?
But look,
they're Vandy.
I see, but that's not it though, because so now we're talking about a logo and not just what's being done on the field.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
Which is not being talked about in the playoff, which is what makes it a joke, which is why I hope there's as much, and I love college football, but I hope that there's as much chaos as possible.
Yeah, because it just doesn't even make sense.
And these people who are putting it together should not be athletic directors, in my humble opinion. We're talking about athletic directors who are making up the college football playoff. Some of them, they should not even have any role in this whatsoever, but they do. They do, and that's an issue. Should not have happened, but somehow, some way, it got locked into that. Anyway, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. That's for sure. We appreciate you guys jumping in with us every day. Always check out all of our programming at luinfo.com. Once again, that's luinfo.com. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. You can check out all of our socials and stream us at X, Facebook, and YouTube. Love it when you guys are there all the time. And just give us ideas for story ideas. Jump in with us each day. If there's things going on in the area that you want covered, let us know. Who deserves a shout out? We'd love to get into that information as well. Also, when it comes to news stories, we cover news, sports, water cooler talk, things that are happening throughout the St. Louis area. We rely on you guys for that a lot. Email us, tell us about really good interviews that are going on, things that we can handle, all those situations. We'll get into that. We'll cover it. We'll talk about it. We're here for you guys Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Hot Take Central 2.0 follows us. We love to promote those shows that follow us. The former Blue, Cam Jansen, and Cardinals broadcaster, Jim the Cat Hayes. Follow us today and every day. Wonder if, but I don't know what they have on their show today. I'd love to promote that too. You've also got the MIZ STL show today. That's from 10 to 11 o'clock. All things Mizzou, talking about Missouri basketball and their loss last night, talking about the football team, finding out which bowl game they're going to be in on Sunday, and also promoting Mizzou's next basketball game with Kansas on Sunday in Kansas City. So that goes on. Then from 11 to 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, as always, it's the Charlie Tuna and the Posse show, which you will see those things going on. All right, we're here. And of course, we love it when you guys jump in the show and talk to us. Other things, National Signing Day going on today. The early one for football. Congratulations. You'll see some of those things going on. When it comes to guys, Mizzou has a class that allegedly now is ranked 25th in some of the major headlines, but the recruiting classes are different now. It's not all about who you're getting out of high school. It's a combo of high school and portal and transfer portal, because we have seen Missouri, I think at one point this year, it's 17 of their starters were transfer guys. That shows you what Mizzou has done when it comes to the transfer portal and how those things are taking place. So that's going on today. If you see that, you understand rankings, you understand what's actually going on, how things are being put together. So that's going on today. Congratulations from that standpoint. And I also wanted to put one thing out when it comes to, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but somehow, some way, the University of Colorado is now $27 million in the hole with their athletic department. They raised about $163 million, or $137 million, but their expenses were $163. What put them over, according to the USA Today Sports Report on it, a $10 million salary for Deion Sanders each year, and NIL money of like 21 to almost 22 million. And now they have a deficit of 27 million. So making some decisions out in Colorado. Colorado has not turned into a very good football team. It has not worked out for them right now. So who knows? Maybe something will happen with Deion. He's certainly a very popular figure, a guy that brought a lot of interest to Colorado football at first, but things kind of faded over this year. That is 100% for sure. And they didn't really attain what they were supposed to last year, or at least what many people thought would happen. So anyway, we're grateful that you guys have been with us today. And of course, we love it when you join us every day. Thursday already coming up tomorrow. If you want to jump in the show, we love it when you guys do that, as we talked about. Keep us posted on story ideas. And of course, we're here every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Okay. Producer Rise here. Did we miss anything? I can't remember if we missed anything. I don't know. I'm looking at the list to make sure that we didn't miss anything. No, not that I can see right now. Okay, we'll go from there. Appreciate you guys jumping in as always. Have a great day. Stay positive. And of course, we will catch up with you guys tomorrow. This is Art City Now for producer Rye. I am Vic Faust. This is the Lou Information Station. We are live and on demand at louinfo.com. Enjoy your Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
After a long